The view from up here on top of the Big Mac is just spectacular. I'm standing on top of the South Tower, and what I'm seeing, you'll be seeing in the next few minutes. It's great. Several hundred feet off the water's surface is where we'll take you. We'll get an inside, outside, top side, bottom side, winter and summer look at one of the most famous bridges in the world, the Mackinaw Bridge. You'll get an inside scoop about this great bridge from a couple of Big Mac experts, Kelvin Bucky McPhee, who's worked at the bridge longer than anyone else, and J.C. Stillwell, who helped build the bridge as a young ironworker. High above the water and traffic, you'll take a cable walk with Al Stempke. Al Stempke is just one of the many unique people at this place.
Where would people be without places to enjoy? And what would a place be like without the unique and interesting people that give it character? This is People and Places with Perry.
It's big, it's beautiful. It has stood the test of time, and from day one, it has been a record-setting testament to modern engineering. It's the Mackinaw Bridge, affectionately called the Big Mac. During the summer and winter seasons, the bridge and surrounding area take on a completely different look. During the winter, this place is like being at the North Pole. If tight, dark, closed-off spaces aren't for you, just getting to the top of this enormous bridge would be impossible. The elevator and the series of hatches and superstructure you have to climb through are cramped and pretty much without any light. It's really hard to explain the feeling of crawling out of this hatch, coming out of the dark, cramped space in the tower, and emerging into the brightness and then realizing you're literally on top of the world. This bridge has always looked big to me, but nothing could prepare you for how big it feels from up here. Up here, you're above the traffic, above the birds, above everything. It's very quiet, except for a certain vibration sound being generated by the traffic far below. Right after we reached the top, a fog bank started to roll in on the surface of the lake. Lucky for us, it stopped about 3 miles west of the bridge. Oh, we decided to give you a view of the Mackinaw Bridge that you may not have seen before. We're looking south towards Mackinaw City and down, way down, 550 feet off the surface of the water. What a view. What a bridge. Dr. D.B. Steinman is the engineering genius who designed and was hired to build this bridge. To design and then build a structure this big and strong is just a modern wonder. Being up here really makes you respect what several thousand people accomplished 40 years ago. This is an amazing view. Now, how about some amazing facts? The Big Mac is 5 miles long and 3,800 feet of that length is between the main towers. The bridge contains 466,300 cubic yards of concrete. Hello! Geez, I wonder how many wheelbarrow loads that is. The top of the towers are 552 feet above the surface of the water. At midspan, the water is 295 feet deep. The main cables are composed of 42,000 miles of wire under that casing. If you drive across the bridge, the roadway is 199 feet off the water at midspan. Ships and boats have 155 feet of clearance at midspan, so I think you can more than squeeze the family boat under there. Most of this concrete is below the water and makes up the massive piers that support the bridge. If you could set this whole bridge on the bathroom scales, it would weigh 1,024,500 tons. Oh, that's about 2,049,000,000 pounds. It took 350 engineers, 3,500 bridge site laborers, 7,500 quarry, workshop, and mill employees, 4,000 engineering drawings, and 85,000 blueprints to build this bridge. The most amazing fact about this bridge is how quickly it was completed. The bridge was started in early 1954 and opened for traffic in late 1957. The bridge was dedicated in the summer of 1958. You're watching People and Places. There's more up next. Nowadays, even in the dead of winter, traffic keeps up a steady pace as people constantly cross back and forth between the upper and lower peninsulas. We headed to the north side of the bridge in the Bridge Authority Administration Building. Here's where we first met Calvin Buck McPhee. Today, Calvin Bucky McPhee has worked at the bridge longer than anyone else.
How long you been here?
34 years.
Now, are you from the area?
Yeah, I was born and raised up here.
So you can remember it well before the bridge?
Well, when we were in high school, we used to come down and watch, build it, sit over here. They had a bridge viewing site over here to the west of the bridge, and we'd sit there and watch it by the hour, the tugboats and stuff hauling sections out to the bridge. And it was very interesting.
So it took 4 years to build. What was it designed for? Do you know how long is that bridge going to last?
As long as it's maintained properly, it'll last forever. They have a continuous maintenance program with it.
So you actually never finish?
You never finish. It's continuous.
Is it anything that we should fear?
Nothing at all. It's just like driving down a highway. You'll get the same effect on a highway where you're driving down, you might hit an open area and your car might lunge one way or the other. It's basically out here, when you go by the tower and the anchor piers, you'll have a let up of the wind, and then when you come out of it, the wind will hit you again, so it feels like you're moving, but you're really not.
Now, do you have measuring devices on the bridge?
Yeah.
Wind and temperature both?
Yes, we have wind indicators both north or east and west, and we have one here right at the plaza also.
So this is almost like a little weather station.
We have like a Doppler radar system in here.
You guys are high tech.
Yes, it's going big time. I'll tell you, it's changed a lot from when I started.
I'll bet.
You see the changes more and more every year for the good.
And we're sitting in a conference room, by the way, in the newly remodeled administration building, and when you look out the conference room, you have a beautiful view of the bridge from the north side looking south. You know, a lot of people, though, that are afraid of bridges always wonder why the steel grates in the middle where you can look right through.
Yeah.
Because you know, that does create, I ride road bikes, motorcycles, and a couple times I've been over with my wife, and she doesn't like bridges, and when we got to that spot, that's what did it for her.
Yeah.
Why is that there? Why do you need those steel grates?
It's there for several reasons. One is for weight, to cut down the weight on the bridge. Expansion, for wind. It'll break the wind, you know, somewhat, an aerodynamic type thing of the bridge.
So it lets the wind pass through as opposed to lifting the whole section up.
In a wind, a lot of people think that it sways back and forth. Well, it does, but not all at once. If you get a wind, that bridge will move 8 feet one way and stay there till the wind lets up. Then if the wind reversed, it would come back to center and go 8 feet the other way. So you got a 16-foot span that bridge moves. But it doesn't continue to just lay up there and sway. It goes whatever way the wind's blowing and stays there till the wind lets up, and then gradually comes back as the wind lets up.
Back in Mackinaw City on top of Mamma Mia's Pizzeria is the Mackinaw Bridge Museum. We talked with the museum's owner, operator, and former Big Mac ironworker, J.C. Stillwell. You tell us that this place is just hopping and bopping in the summertime. You have lines coming in. They're lined up downstairs to see this museum, and it's free, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
The museum's all free. You can get in. You have a little donation box there for upkeep, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, we have a donation box, but we open up at 7 in the morning, close at midnight at night. We have men on the door, and they tell them where to go and what to do, and lots of times they order their pizzas downstairs, and then they come up here, and we call them down when the pizza's ready. But they don't have to order food to come to our museum.
You can stop in anytime.
Right.
Now, why the museum? Why did you build this?
Well, I'm ironworker come off the bridge in 1954 to 57, and I always said that we should have something to document what they've done on the bridge. And I've saved all the tapes and the hard hats and everything, and the guys from all over the world bring stuff into me. And I think it should be saved. Our heritage sometimes disappears.
Now, these are iron workers from all over the world that bring in some of these hats? And
yes, the iron workers from all over the world, and all the stuff that is in here come off the bridge originally.
Now, how many people still live in this area that worked on the bridge?
We may have a dozen men in the area.
And you said you worked on the bridge?
Oh, yes, I worked all the way through it.
How dangerous was it?
Pretty dangerous.
I've got a feeling that John Wayne would have appreciated these guys. We'll be right back. The Mackinaw Bridge Museum is dedicated to the ironworkers who lost their lives while building the bridge. From what we've been told, 5 men died building the bridge, and a couple more died due to heart attacks. Was it just an accident? Did it all happen at once when these fellows died, or one at a time? Just part of the mystery of the bridge. Can you remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we lost Baker and Copey on Tower 19. The catwalk broke, and they fell to their death. And then we lost Pepper. He come up too fast with the bends. Then we lost Labor off the cement scow. And then we lost Lesarge off the caisson. That was the 5 men we lost.
When you guys were building it, did you ever get the feeling, this can't be done, this is beyond what should even be attempted? Did you ever have that feeling? You think maybe they bit off a little bit too much? I mean, when you're out there doing it and you're looking at the plans that the engineers have and you are the guys that are putting them together, do you ever stop and go, this is not going to work?
Well, I think maybe sometimes there's a little doubt, but we had Dr. D.B. Steinman, and our engineers were very good men, and we had experienced men from all over the country, and I'm sure that sometimes there might have been a doubt, but after you look at it, we said, it's going to work.
Now, do you feel safe on that bridge?
Oh, yeah, no problem on that bridge.
Should anyone feel safe on that bridge forever?
Everybody should feel safe on that bridge. It's a safe bridge.
So if you have a problem with bridges, this is not one to have a problem with?
There's no problem in Mackinaw Bridge.
Now, J.C., before you worked on the bridge, now you're a businessman now. You have Mamma Mia's Pizzeria, this museum, and have other business interests in town. Have you been here all your life, or did it start when you worked on the bridge? Were you from this area?
Yes, I was born and raised here. I went to high school here. I was born out here a couple of miles in the country, and I went to high school, and then from there I worked my way through different jobs, and then in 1954 when they started the bridge, I come up. Well, I didn't come up here. I was here. I went to work on the bridge.
And it was a 3 or 4 year job on the bridge?
4 years, 42 months.
You guys did a heck of a job.
I think we did.
How long do you think it'll last?
Forever, I hope.
J.C. Stillwell and his Bridge Museum sponsor the International Ironworkers Festival every August. He says there's a good time waiting for all. Now, when we come up here to the museum, what would you suggest us looking at if we're going to see anything? What's the most interesting thing to see? You mentioned something to us off camera about the video showing the construction of the bridge. Is that one of the top items you want to make sure you see?
Yes, well, you'll see that. There's a big screen at the end of our museum down here, and it shows a 20-minute movie of how the bridge was built.
JC has spent a lot of time and effort in putting this museum together. You won't be disappointed. If you see JC, say hi, and I'm sure he'll have a great bridge story to share with you.
So the bridge is owned by the state?
Yes, and it's operated by the Mackinaw Bridge Authority. It's an agency of the state of Michigan.
Just like the Department of Transportation?
Basically, yes.
Very similar.
Yes, but we work hand in hand with the Department of Transportation, and there's a good relationship, and they help, and we help them, and it works very well.
Well, how much did that thing cost originally?
$100 million.
$100 million?
Yes.
Today, that doesn't sound like a lot.
$500 million to replace it today.
If that had to be replaced totally?
Right. And that's
$500 million?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, is it paid for?
Oh, yes.
When was it paid for?
It was paid for, I think, about 6-7 years ago is when they...
By tolls?
Yes.
So almost everything by toll?
The state subsidized the bridge during the years that was operating of $476,000 a year for maintenance, for road maintenance. The bridge now, after it's been paid off, is repaying that money that the state financed for the maintenance.
So
they're turning back.
So before everybody starts going, hey, they're going to drop the tolls, they're not going to drop the toll, right?
No, in fact, they just raised tolls on truck vehicles.
And that pays for continuing maintenance?
That's the long-term maintenance program that they're going to go into, that they had to do that for.
So there will always be a toll?
Yes. You see different people from different walks of life going through there, and some people don't know where they are. We've had people heading for Florida, leaving Detroit, and come through and want to know.
Come on.
Absolutely.
They drove all the way from Detroit to Mackinaw City?
Sure, they get on I-75 and they don't know if they're going north or south. And they ask how much further to Florida, you know. It happens.
Would you tell them that they were about to go on the bridge to the Keys?
Yep. I mean, that's a common thing today, even.
You're watching People and Places. There's more up next.
But then we had time I was out there, it was in the booth, and this convertible pulls through and pays the fare, and all of a sudden he goes through and pulls over the right, and we look down the road, and here comes a guy streaking up the toll plaza through the booth.
Back when that was a fad, yeah. Do you get very many of those streakers?
No, I was
that the only one?
Only one. Me and another friend that works in the office now, Jim Lamro, was on duty that night. And it was quite a riot. I live out 5 miles west of town on the lake, and I get up and I look out my window and I see the bridge.
So you can't ever leave this job.
That's right.
Even if you don't work here someday, you still see it every day from the house.
Well, I get up every morning and look and see if it's still there, see if I have to go to work or not.
You like it?
Love it. Oh yeah.
Is there some kind of a weird, when you talk to sailors, they have an attachment, a love that goes beyond explaining for not only the sea, but for their vessel, their ship.
Right.
Do the people that work here long-term like yourself get that same feeling
Absolutely.
for this bridge?
Yes. No matter where you go and you tell them they work for the bridge, it just turns people's head and they come start asking questions.
Why is that, do you think?
It's just such a beautiful structure, and it connects to probably two of the most beautiful pieces of land in the country together. The summers up here are just magnificent. The winters, like right now, are getting a little long.
Cold.
Yes, but
it has a certain mystery about it too, hasn't it?
Yes.
It's kind of an eerie thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's alive. That's a feeling I get.
Yeah. It plays a role in a lot of people's lives, I'll tell you.
Do you love that bridge?
Oh, I love that bridge very much. It's a job you'll never forget, and I met some of the nicest and best men in the world on that bridge. Some iron workers and some not. But it was a beautiful job. Yeah, it's like it's part of me.
So it just never goes away.
It never goes away.
You poured a lot of your life into that then, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Every time I go over, it feels like it's a vibration.
You can feel it.
Right.
Talking to you.
Talking to you or something. Somebody's saying something.
This bridge seems to do something to you, especially if you spend your life around it, like Calvin Buck McPhee or J.C. Stillwell. Well, we're on top of the bridge, the Mackinaw Bridge, with Al Stempke. He's our guide. He brought us up here, maintenance supervisor Al Stempke. How long you worked here, Al?
I got 24 years this July.
Bet you have some stories, huh?
Yeah, quite a few of them.
Now, you're quite the daredevil. You just walked out on the cable there and changed a light for us. So you used to do that all the time, I guess, huh?
Well, we did it every fall. We used to change the Christmas lights out here. But now our two electricians are young guys, and they handle that now.
What's a favorite spot on the whole bridge for you?
Cable.
Out there on the cable?
Yep.
Why is that?
Well, our bosses ain't looking over our shoulders out there.
It's quite the view, too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Now, have you ever been scared any weather or something catch you up here at any time when you're up here working?
Well, as you know, we get high winds in this area, and I've been on them cables before, and we had a squall that come out to the west here. It turned black on us, and we just got on this landing that we're on here now, and they clocked it inshore. We never had wind monitors at that time, and she was hitting 80 mile an hour out here.
And you were up here on the tower?
I was right where we're standing now.
What's it like when the wind's blowing 80 miles an hour when you're up here? I mean, what happens? Do you see any physical changes of the bridge?
Not really. You just, you hear lots of noises and stuff. I mean, this bridge is built strong. I mean, last summer we had 96 mile an hour, and, we had no damage at all,
And that's above hurricane force?
That's correct. We had tree damage west of town here, probably 20 miles. There's lots of trees went down, hardwood trees that's 100 years old, and uprooted them and stuff. And the only thing we lost one of these signs out here.
Would you want to work anywhere else?
Not really.
Are you glad you had the chance to work here in your life?
Yes, I am.
What kind of feelings do you have about the bridge? I mean, does it become a part of you? I noticed you told us, you pointed out right north of the bridge here, you bought a home on the beach. Is that why? Do you just like the bridge that much?
I guess so. I got a lot of relics and stuff from the bridge, and a lot of bridge pictures, in my home and stuff like that. And when you go on trips, you tell people you work here. You're kind of proud you work here, I guess. It's a different place to work. It ain't like a factory or stuff like that.
It kind of does something to you, huh?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's I like the outdoors, and there's a lot of occupations out there, but I guess I enjoy this.
Well, I'll tell you what, Al, it's been a pleasure, and we thank you very much for giving our viewers a chance to see what you see a lot.
Thank you very much.
Al said that in the old days they didn't always have to wear safety belts when they worked up here. I'm not afraid of heights, but To work out there on that cable, you'd have to lash me to it. There's just something about this place that makes your eyes want to drink in more and more. You just can't stop looking at it. Before we left the bridge for our next destination, Buck invited us out to his house for one last look at this modern-day wonder, the Mackinaw Bridge. I can't begin to tell you how friendly Buck, JC, and Al were to us. They're really a great group of people, and the Big Mac is a great place. For more information about the Mackinaw Bridge, call the Bridge Authority at 906-643-7600. That's 906-643-7600. For more information about the Mackinaw Bridge Museum, call 616-436-5534. That's 616-436-5534. That's our show. Thanks for watching People and Places. I'm Harry Wright. If you have an idea for People and Places, send us a card to P.O. Box 310875, Flint, Michigan 48531.